Welcome to a new episode of What You Need to Know. Today we're talking about a game that, without a shadow of a doubt, is my most hyped for this year, and that is of course none other than the Spyro Reignited Trilogy. For those who aren't in the loop, the Reignited Trilogy is a collection of the three PS1 Spyro games that originally released between 1998 and 2000, Spyro the Dragon, Spyro Ripto's Rage, and Spyro the Dragon, which have all been remade completely from the ground up in Unreal Engine 4. The original trilogy was created by Insomniac Games, however the remake is not handled by them at all, but instead Toys for Bob, who are most known for their work on the Skylanders series. With the successful launch of the Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy last year, which also featured three platformers remade from the same era, many might expect the Reignited Trilogy to follow pretty closely in its footsteps. In many ways it does, but one notable difference between the two is that the Reignited Trilogy has altered many of the original character designs, far more than was the case with the Crash remakes. This is largely due to the fact that the character and world designs were more basic than those in the Crash games due to the levels being far more open and less linear, and therefore needed to be updated in order to meet today's standards. Although all these new designs look fantastic in my opinion and are a big step up, some will definitely take some getting used to, such as characters like Sheila or Ripto that have had a greater visual change, whilst others like Spyro and Bianca feel a little more subtle. In regards to their level design, the geometry remains pretty much identical and faithful to the originals, but the environments are packed to the brim with a ton more detail. From simple things like having actual blades of grass that sway in the wind and catch fire as Spyro unleashes his flame breath, to the architecture that looks so much more elaborate and striking. One of the most interesting enhancements to the first game in particular is to the individual designs for the 80 dragons you find and rescue. No longer held back by the limited hardware of the PS1, they now have completely varied models and personalities that are shown off a lot better, making each one of them truly unique. Attention to detail like this is also very prevalent in the cutscenes, they're therefore a lot more engaging, with dynamic camera angles and expressive animations that really bring each character to life. Aside from all the visual improvements that are immediately obvious, there are a number of notable others you may not be aware of. First is the dialogue that has been completely revoiced, with many of the original voice actors returning to reprise their roles, such as Greg Berger who plays Ripto, as well as Tom Kenny who voiced Spyro in the second and third games in the originals, who will now be voicing all three for the remakes. Revoicing the games means we not only get higher quality sound, but also better voice acting all round, with a lot more emotion put into the characters than before, especially as the original recordings sometimes came off a little stiff, an aspect that was fine in the 90s but stands out a little in 2018. In addition, the soundtrack has received a remaster, but even better is that you have the choice between listening to the original composition or the remastered one, so if you fancy that extra bit of nostalgia, it's only a button click away in the menu. Also, Stuart Copeland, the very man responsible for the original soundtrack, returns to create a brand new theme for the collection, and it not only sounds great, but fits in perfectly. Lastly, one of the other major improvements is with the controls that have been slightly revamped, feeling familiar, but also in line with how you're used to controlling games nowadays. For example, having the camera controls mapped to the right analog stick, which wasn't possible in the PS1 titles as they didn't feature full analog support. The Reignited Trilogy was originally slated to release last month, but was delayed quite close to launch, which Toys for Bob stated was because the project needed more love and care, and is now due to be released on the 13th of November for the PS4 and Xbox One. In what has proved quite a controversial move, if you buy a physical copy, only the first game will be entirely on the disc itself. The second and third game will need to be downloaded, at least in part to work, something you may want to bear in mind if you have slow internet. However, this could change before launch as a result of the game's delay. Additionally, for those hoping for a Switch and PC release, well, you might just get your wish at some point in the future, even if not quite yet, as both platforms were accidentally listed on the official game's website a while back before being promptly removed. We can expect all three games to receive support for both the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, just like the Crash N. Sane Trilogy, and although we don't have exact details on what the enhancements will be, we can assume it'll be your pretty standard improvement, an upscale 4K that just makes the footage look a little bit cleaner and sharper. Despite the collection featuring three full games that have been lovingly recrafted, the game won't retail for full price, selling for £30 or $40 if you're in the US, which is incredible value for money, and with each of the titles including full trophy and achievement support, the collection should last you a very long time. Let me know down in the comments which of the three games you're most looking forward to playing. For me it's definitely Ripto's Rage, or Gateway to Glimmer as it was known in the UK, as that was the one game I never fully completed as a child. That's it for today. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe and hit that bell icon to receive notifications when future videos are posted. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.